Welcome, Army fans. This is Joe Iacono with GoBlackKnights.com coming at you live from NOAC Auditorium in the Kimsey Athletic Center at West Point after Army's big 20-3 victory over Air Force in the first leg of the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy for the Black Knights this year. Took care of business 20-3. Of course, the big news pregame that we all found out shortly before kickoff was that quarterback Bryson Daly was out and would not be playing today. I do have some more details on that, but not going to divulge those here. But Bryson did not play, so Dwayne Coleman got the start. And Army came out, first drive, moving right down the field like they typically do. However, a couple penalties stalled their drive in the red zone, false start and a hold, and they ended up kicking a field goal. First time this season they haven't scored a touchdown on their opening drive, but did get a score. So they went up 3-0. Defense, who played lights out all day against Air Force. Air Force really could not get anything going on offense all day. 3 and out. Offense gets the ball back, goes back down the field. This time they stall out, end up in the second quarter getting another field goal to go up 6-0. Another drive that stalled out in the red zone. And then defensively, did a really good job, but Air Force did get a field goal before the half to make it 6-3. So at halftime, to say the outcome it was in doubt would not be an understatement. Army's offense seemed to struggle, didn't get a lot going either in the passing game or the running game. Part of that's Air Force's defense and their familiarity with our offense. Part of it was just there wasn't a lot there. Tried a couple plays to the perimeter with Noah Short and Tyrell Robinson. Really didn't go for much. There was a couple nice pass completions, but for the most part, the Army running game was stifled, and part of that might have, been not having Bryson's dominance in there for sure. But most importantly, Army didn't turn the ball over. So went into the locker room at halftime with a 6-3 lead, and then started the second half with a crucial touchdown scoring drive in the third quarter that was capped with a 12-yard Kanye Udo touchdown run. The drive was 9 plays for 65 yards, 5 minutes and 1 second off the clock to go ahead 13-3. It was the Kanye Udo and Mob dominance tour, basically. They just stuffed Kanye right down Air Force's throat for really successful drive. Dwayne Coleman even had a nice run, 15-yard run for a first down on that drive. And Army really took control of the game at that point, 13-3. When I was talking with Kanye and Dwayne Coleman after the game in the post-game press conference, they mentioned that that was a culture drive, and that Coach Vitae at halftime said, look, let's just roll up our sleeves and just knock them off the ball. And you could tell the push on that drive, especially in the A gaps, looked really good with Brady Small and Bill Katsianis and Paolo Generelli up the middle. Lucas Scott and Connor Finucane did a great job on that drive as well. So from that point, it was 13-3, and the defense never really let Air Force's offense get close to scoring to where it ever got scary. They pressured Air Force's quarterback Hayes all day long, 6 sacks and a whole lot of hurries. 2 of them led to interceptions. The first one in the red zone by Casey Larkin after he was called for a BS pass interference call, which should have never been called. The back judge called it. I don't know what he was looking at, but as Casey said, didn't flinch, came back a couple plays later, gets an interception. And then basically the two teams traded punts. Not a lot going on. Air Force got another drive together late with about 6 minutes left. Started the drive down the field towards Army's end zone. And Max DiDomenico comes up with a huge pick in the red zone, returns it 70 yards. And then on the first play from scrimmage, they hand off to Kanye Udo, who goes 40 yards for a touchdown. Or no, not 40, but 25 yards for a touchdown. Kanye finished with 22 carries for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns, 7.2 average, which is amazing against a team like Air Force that knows our offense really well. Big shout out to the Mob and the Kanye Udo for a really, really productive game. He had to step up big time in the absence of Bryson Daly. And I think the Air Force defense knew he was probably getting the ball most of the time. And just a testament to the offensive line that he was still able to average 7.2 yards per carry and have such a big game. Army's rushing rushing totals were so he scores Army goes up 20-3, basically salts the game away at that point with less than 2 minutes left. So MVPs of this game. Defensively, you could give it to a whole bunch of people. The whole defense played great. Caleb Fortner came up with a bunch of tackles. Chance Keith led the team in tackles with eight. Like I said, 6 sacks total. Caleb Fortner had 7 total tackles and some big, big, nasty hits. Looked great. So did Andon Thomas, who ended up with 6 tackles. Kyle Lewis had 7 tackles. Uh, Fortner had 2.5 TFLs and half a sack. Defense just played lights out. Coach Munkin said it was their best game they played defensively all year. Not the only ones impressed. That was what was great about this team. It was really the first game all year. Army had to grind, and they did a good job. And were still able to win by 17 points without their starting quarterback, their Heisman Trophy candidate starting quarterback, Bryson Daly. Everybody else stepped up. Kanye Udo stepped up. The offensive line stepped up. Dwayne Coleman stepped up. Defensively, the whole defense stepped up. And basically, the defense took that game on their shoulders and said, hey, we got to win this game. It was really the first game all year they've had to say that probably. And came away holding Air Force to 3 points and won 20-3. I know Air Force isn't a great team, but whenever the two academies meet, you really do have to throw the records out because they know each other so well and the athletes are so similar. So Army gets another big win. On to North Texas next week, which will be a really challenging game down in Denton. North Texas has an extremely explosive offense, and we can only hope Bryson Daly is healthy and back and ready to roll next week so that Army can continue their march through the American Athletic Conference and hopefully go 7-0 in conference and 9-0 overall. Army fans, once again, Joe Iacono with GoBlackKnights.com. Army with the 20-3 win today over Air Force to get the first leg of the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy. The CIC Trophy will now be decided officially December 14th against Navy in Washington, D.C. And Army goes to 8-0 on the season for the first time since 1996. So looks good as far as rankings go. We'll have to see how that pans out, but they should still be ranked in the top 25 for sure. Going into next week with North Texas, we'll have a lot for you for the North Texas game. We have a very special podcast coming up that I won't give you any details on, and spoiler alert for you, but should be a really good podcast over the next couple of weeks with some really awesome guests. So really excited about that. Again, Army wins 20-3. Big win today. Great job by the defense. Great job by Kanye Udo and the offensive line. Great job by Dwayne Coleman holding on to the ball. Go Army, beat Navy.